how do I do market research if I'm thinking about opening up a new location? I think doing market research is a really important step when you're thinking about opening up a practice. Even if you're familiar with the area or you think that you're familiar with the area, I think that if you are thinking about maybe opening up a second location or expanding, doing market research is going to be really important because you're going to want it to be aligned with your ideal client, no matter what your stage is in terms of opening your practice. So your first thing you're going to want to do is write out some information about your ideal client. Where do they live? How old are they? What kind of industry do they work in? What are some things that they do? What are some things that may be around them that help support them in their lifestyle? You want to think about, if you already do have a location, what is successful about the location that you have? Usually what people do is they open up locations that are very similar to their first location, but maybe just a little far away. That's what we did. I like to be in areas that have about 100,000 people in population in a fairly close range. So if the city doesn't necessarily have that many people, there are very close neighboring cities, like where I'm at in Davie. There's Cooper City, there's Hollywood, there's Pembroke Pines, there's Miramar, there's Plantation, there's Fort Lauderdale. So all of those surrounding cities make up more than 100,000. But it's not in a million people in that immediate area to where we're kind of going to get drowned out and there's going to be a lot of competition. And so when I went to go open up my second location, we looked for demographics that were pretty similar. We are in an area, again, that the city has about 90,000 people, but the city next to it has 60,000 people. And a lot of people from that city do come over and get their healthcare appointments in that area. And so it just made sense because it was so similar to the other location. And then we were just able to duplicate what we did in the first location. So you can use things like Google, obviously. I like to look at Wikipedia. I look to read about cities and the demographics in the cities, the age populations, the distribution, is it a lot of children or a lot of older people, or is it a really good mix? Even things like, are there colleges in the town? What does the school system look like? What is the distribution of income? Or what are the major employers in that area? That can kind of help inform whether you're going to do a private pay practice or an insurance-based practice. Again, if there is one or two employers in the area and they have a particular insurance, you may want to decide to take that insurance. And so by gathering this information, you're really going to be able to make a lot of informed decisions about your practice. You can also use Facebook. If you use the back end of Facebook, it'll give you a lot of information about demographics in cities. It will give you things like the same thing, age. It'll give you socioeconomic status. It will give you things like, what pages do most of the people in that city like? Kind of a fun fact, I was doing a workshop a couple of years ago, and I was showing this, and I was showing the demographics of the city that my practice was in, which is Pembroke Pines. And one of the pages that was liked so much is called Pooches and Pines, and it's a pet rescue page. And what that told me is, like, so many people in our area are really passionate about pets and animals, and that sometimes people would bring their pets into session, that our therapists may bring their pets into session. I remember one time I brought my cat into session and people were like, I couldn't believe a cat is here. And some people are allergic and we used a different office, but for people that, loved cats, they were so excited. And so it just helped, again, to inform the kind of practice that I run, and it can help to inform the kind of practice that you run. I want to talk to you about Facebook a little bit more and how you can utilize that to make decisions about your practice. But first, I want to thank our sponsor, TherapyNotes. If you're looking for an electronic health record that's really full service, you can run an in-person or an online practice. They have a telehealth feature. They have billing features. You can take payments directly from there, so you don't have to have a separate system. You can send paperwork. They have a portal. And the thing that really makes TherapyNotes stand out is their customer service. So if you're looking for a new electronic health record, I want you to check out TherapyNotes. So Facebook will really give you a lot of information. It's kind of what's good and bad about Facebook. A lot of people don't like that Facebook is collecting so much data on them, but because they're collecting so much data, that data is readily available for you. You can find it in the ads manager, because what the purpose of it is really to help you create ads. So if you were wanting to create ads in a certain area and you were wondering about the demographics, it's there. One thing I know about our demographics is we do better in areas where there's more women. Women tend to call more often. When we are making our Facebook ads, we will target female audiences a lot. And Facebook really tells us if there's enough people in a particular area for that. And so again, I want you to think about your ideal client, and I want you to try to match your city. I don't want you to have an ideal client that, let's just say they live in the suburbs and then you're thinking about opening up your practice in a rural area. That's not necessarily going to match, because if you're trying to attract those specific types of clients, they're not going to be necessarily in that rural area. But I would recommend that you really get intimate with the areas, go visit them, maybe talk to some people that are in the area. That's what we did. We talked to other therapists in the area that we were thinking about growing into, and we were told it was not a saturated market. And when we got here, we realized it was not a saturated market, and that was very helpful. So good luck if you are thinking about opening your first practice or expanding. We are here to help you with all of your practice building tools. I am here most days out of the week. I will see you soon, everybody. Bye.